Thank you so much for being here today.
No, thanks to you. Thanks to you all for being here. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. Who here is going to see Rosalía during her MOTOMAMI tour? Yes. Okay, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, but we're going to talk a little bit about the tour. How is your tour going so far?
Pretty good, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you collecting peluches?
I have like 50.
50 Dr. Simis.
Yeah. I have
counting.
so many. I don't know what to do. I have a suitcase full of them. And I have so many usually on the bed in the hotel. So, yeah.
So talking about I saw both of your shows in Mexico City. It was just it was modern art come to life. Your show, which is heavily inspired by internet culture and TikTok, is just, it's art in motion. Your dancers, we'll talk about your dancers in a second. But David Byrne, the frontman of Talking Heads, he saw your show at the Radio City Music Hall and he said it was super innovative. He was just stunned. Now, can you talk to me about the concept of your MOTOMAMI tour? How did you create this concept?
I think it all started, well, first of all, bear with me with my English and the pronunciation, okay? But
no,
but
killing it.
Yeah, so I think it all started when I was thinking in this new project. I didn't even know that it was called MOTOMAMI, something that it happened later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I was thinking about what I wanted to talk about, how I wanted it to feel. And while I was creating the songs in the studio, at the same time, I was already thinking, how am I going to translate this that has a certain energy, it has certain colors, it has certain... Yeah, como tenía como, poco a poco cogía forma. And then I was like, I have to find a way to translate it on the shows. And I think that it was very important for me that people, when they would come to the show, they would like kind of feel that I'm close. Because I was like, I'm used to perform in small venues when I started, when I was like 16 or something in Barcelona. I used to perform in bars, I used to perform in restaurants, in weddings, in like super small places, but I was used to having people that close as we are now, right? And now it changed completely. So las dimensiones is so different. And so I was like, how can I still get the intimacy, but in places that huge, like arenas and shit like that. So I was like, okay, probably it has to be a camera there. It has to be like involved somehow. So there's like big screen and still people have the feeling that they are that close. And then I think that it's very interesting too, the fact that there's like humans on stage. I mean, like, to me, that's like the what's priceless to me, it's the energy. I think that when the energy is true, when the energy is there, I think that's what has the most value. So to me, I know that sometimes people can go to a show and they can expect like fireworks, you know, like pyrotechnia, like the craziest shit. And it makes sense. I understand, but to me the craziest is when I see like Mick Jagger perform and the way he moves and the way he expresses, or I don't know, like Janis Joplin, I love her, or I don't know, so many artists, Camarón, of course, like, yeah, like, it's about the energy, and to me that's what's priceless, because it has, some people can think it has more value to see like espectacularidad and expensive shit, but to me what's the most like priceless is that. So I really put my effort into how can I train and push myself to be the best performer I can be in this moment. Like, how can I just put my effort into having the best vocals I can have in this moment and the best choreography. Because at the end of the day, para mí, tiene mucho valor estar prácticamente casi 2 horas, almost 2 hours, without leaving the stage. That has value. Or not changing the clothes and not putting my nails because I'm gonna play the piano and the guitar.
Yes.
So it's like, that has value. And all of that to me is like, yeah, like matarme con el cuerpo to do these choreographies. Like, all of that has value to me. And that's why I put the effort there. And there's like these screens and this steady, because it's like you can go to the show one time and you're probably not gonna see it all, hopefully, because there's something happening in the screen and there's something happening on stage. It's not the same if you see the show from the screen that if you see it, what's really happening on stage. There's like layers. And I love that every time it's different, so it's alive.
You really are a poet. I mean that. I'm saying that sincerely. But no, but something that you said to me, because the fact is that we have been in a pandemic for 2 years. You were on your phone more than you've ever been in your entire life. I think a lot of us were. So the physicality of your performances, it's so striking, you know. It really affects you for those of you who haven't seen the show. But you said something to me the last time we spoke, and you said that people are now seeing the world through their screens. Something so crazy to me when seeing your show was watching your show on the iPhones of the people recording the screen that you were then broadcasting from your own phone or from your own camera. So we're still getting the physical show, but it's still being mediated by layers and layers of screens.
Yeah, I think that 100% we see the world a lot. We experience life a lot through screens, which I'm not saying is good or bad.
Yeah.
It's just maybe kind of a fact that it's kind of happening. And I was just trying to acknowledge it and embrace it, if that makes sense, and trying to, okay, like this is a code that now it's very present in my life. And I kind of feel like it's present in other people's lives, so why not? At the end of the day, to me, making music or preparing a show is about communication. So it's not that it's so important what code I'm using, but what I'm trying to, like that the message gets there, you know what I mean?
And it's, I think that people really underestimate how interesting a platform TikTok really is. Something that I found out today is that the visual album version of MOTOMAMI, which you shot on TikTok, it became the first TikTok and first vertical video ever to be nominated for a Latin Grammy. You're changing the game. But yeah, the first vertical video ever, which I haven't thought about until I found this out, but it's nominated for Best Long Form Music Video. I also want to talk about the dancers. Something that's so interesting is, so you hired this group of modern dancers. They're like acrobats. They are also all young men. So what made you cast an all-male dance group, and why is it important for your performance?
I think that the fact that they are all male, it's very interesting to me, because then clearly, para mí, potencia the
potential.
Bueno, potencia la presencia femenina. because there's a lot of masculine energy around. But I thought it was very interesting to explore something different because I was coming from the Mal Querer tour, which was, we were all women on stage, and I enjoyed that a lot. But then I was like, I want to keep learning. I want to keep pushing myself. So I was like, let me learn through being on stage and being in the room, because we were rehearsing so much. And for me, like, being with them, I've learned a lot from their corporalities, from their energy, and I love that. And at the same time, I feel like sometimes they're really like a cuatro patas.
They're
on stage.
They're on 4 feet.
Yeah, on 4. Yeah. En una línea. And I'm like laying there like this. Like literally, to me, that's so special because we are used to see traditionally in ballet that there's so many women para engrandecer the masculine presence. So I think this is the other way around. Mm-hmm. And I really was excited about doing something different this time.
Mm-hmm. They really emphasize the feminine power that you bring to your shows.
Madonna did it.
Madonna did it.
Of course.
Who watched Truth or Dare? That is one of the best documentaries.
So good. So good.
You need your own Truth or Dare.
That'd be amazing.
So I want to talk about the concept behind MOTOMAMI, which took you 3 years to fully realize. And it was, you've said that it was inspired by your mother, the original MOTOMAMI. She was a badass biker lady. Can you tell us about how your mom inspired you for this record and what it was like growing up as a girl in Barcelona, riding your bike?
Yeah, actually, my mom still riding her Harley.
Vroom, vroom.
Like she inspired me so much because I remember when I was a kid, I used to just hug my mom while we were on the bike, and I remember her blonde hair. It would always hit my face. I had the helmet, but still I would feel it, and the wind, and from very early, like desde muy joven, I think that I started connecting with bikes. And then when I was a teenager, I used to ride them all the time. I really love it because I think there's something about el estar conectado, being present, because when you're riding a bike, you cannot look back. You cannot think too much forward. You have to a little bit, but not too much. Like you really have to be present. So you keep your balance and you like just, no te... ¿Sabes?
Yeah, you have to focus.
You have to focus and be present. So I think that there's something really magical with that, and I've always loved them. And then I think that I was like, okay, there's all this world, this context that always been around me. Like at the same time, a lot of nature. I grew up surrounded by nature. There's something about the forest that it's always been como algo sanador para mí. Like healing, does that make sense? Like healing to me, to be in nature. So I think that that's how I kind of figured out, okay, I was 2 years far from home. I was in the US working on this new project. I was excited to work with collaborators that are people that I admire so much, that I love their music long time ago. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I cannot go home now, because they were saying if you go home in the middle of the project, I really wanted to go to see my family, to be again to the place where I'm from, and they were saying you cannot, because if you go, then you cannot come back. Maybe like estaba bien jodida la cosa. Entonces, yeah, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the sacrifice. I'm gonna stay till I finish it. I don't know how, but I finished it. And it took me 3 years to do this project, to figure it out. And I was very grateful that during those 3 years, I was like, it's taking me a long time. And I'm not sure if when I'm ready to say something, is there gonna be somebody on the other side ready to listen it? Because like it's a long time for a context in an industry that everything is so fast.
That's true.
So I was like, you know, I was concerned a little bit about it, but at the same time I was like, this is the only way. I cannot say it's finished when it's not. My family, they would be like, you said a month ago that it was going to be finished, that it was finished. Again, one more time. To stop saying that, because I was like, yeah, the deadline. I'm gonna do it this time. It never was. It never was real. And I was just creating because I know when it's right. I know when it's finished. When it's right for me, of course, like, es muy personal. That's something very personal. But I was like, I have to finish it properly so I can be in peace, so I can just sit and listen it and be like, yeah, I did the best I could in that moment. And I really wanted to just be transparent with what really was happening, because there was too much happening.
Yes.
In the world, there was pure chaos. And to me, it can apparently look like a chaotic project, but it's actually not. It just comes from a chaotic moment that I was in, and definitely I had more questions than answers when I was doing it, and I still do.
What are some of your questions?
And I'm fine with it. Oh my God, there's so many, girl. Like, you literally listen to it, and the lyrics you can tell. Like, there's so much. But I'm fine with it. I think that it's beautiful. I find beauty in the fact that sometimes you have questions and you don't get the answer, and maybe not getting the answer is what keeps you going for the next thing that you're gonna do. And at the same time, sometimes people is like, oh, so you did Los Angeles, what you gonna do next? Or you did El Mal Querer, what you gonna do next? And they always like that. And to me, I'm like, the best way to honor a previous album is to do the next one. The best way to soltar, like let go, the album you did before is to do the new one. So it's like, I'm always trying to not be, which is maybe probably human to be afraid, but trying to not be afraid to keep going and trying to like looking forward most of the time.
Some wisdom. I think all creative people need to hear that.
I do too, that's why I say it.
Even though I deep down think deadlines are the devil's work.
They are necessary though, I think, no?
Yeah, a little bit.
Even you commit to something that you cannot do, but you're like, at least you have como un faro, like you have something there that you're like, okay, let's go.
Something to look forward to. Yeah. And so you completed a graduate, so I want to talk a little bit about El Mal Querer, your album before MOTOMAMI. It was your graduate thesis at the Catalonia School of Music, and it was very like it was so unique as like a flamenco album that was also a lot of other kinds of music. You taught me about how Camarón de la Isla was someone who was like a rock star in flamenco and really changed the game, but a lot of people were angry about it, you know. So you, with El Mal Querer, when you went from your first album, Los Angeles, to El Mal Querer, it was like you went through the tradition, you learned the tradition, and then El Mal Querer was the remix. So thinking about how difficult it is to, generally to do something different, what made you feel more confident in mixing something like flamenco, which has a centuries-long tradition, with R&B, with electronica, with like, you know, and eventually mixing flamenco with reggaeton? How did you develop the like confidence to do that?
I think that it's something that it kind of comes natural, if that makes sense, because I really have love for all the music in the world. And that can sound like it's like, oof, that sounds too much, but I really do. Like, I really have curiosidad for everything. I see everything at the same level. I don't think about it like, oh, there's this style and this style is better than this one. Because at the end of the day, I think it's good to be aware of the fact that when we say that something is better or worse, usually is because we're just trying to distinguish ourselves of like this is cool and this is not. and at the end of the day, it's just about it makes you feel or it doesn't. So there's no better or worse. And I think that I just enjoy a lot of music from many places. And Camarón de la Isla, actually, they say that when he released one of the most, ¿cómo se diría? Más icónicos de su carrera, which was La Leyenda, more iconic, more iconic in his career, it was La Leyenda del Tiempo. Apparently, I don't know if it's like fact. Sorry if un historiador lo oye y dice, no, esto no era así. But what I've heard, for what I've been told, is that people would take the album, buy it, La Leyenda del Tiempo. It was like flamenco, but fusión. And it was como con inspiración de rock and other music. And people would buy it, go home, and give it back to the shop. Like they didn't want it. And apparently Camarón was like, kind of like saying, okay, for the next one, guitar and palmas. You know? And so to me it's like, wow, like this man was so brave because he did amazing projects and he did flamenco in a way that it wasn't thought like that before. So I think that there's Omega Morente too. Like there's so many flamenco artists that they pushed, and not just in music, but also Israel Galván, Rocío Molina. Like there's so many artists that they've done amazing in thinking de una manera como hacia adelante, sin quedarse in a progressive way. Yeah. And so to me that's inspiring. And of course I think it's impossible for me to talk about my music without mentioning flamenco and without mentioning how much que mi música le debe al flamenco, which is a main inspiration. But at the same time, because I love many other styles, I try to like just create and just go to the studio and I try to think about it like, okay, I'm gonna try to do the best I can and without prejudice, and also like trying to not put myself in the middle too much. No ponerme al servicio, to put myself in service of the song. Like try to like really stay as open as possible so I can think clear and feel clear and know what that song needs. So I can produce properly and write properly and really like try to not put myself too much there, like just what is necessary. There's my desire, there's the drive, there's the direction, the energy, like the need, so many things that I put there when I go to the studio. But at the same time, I try that. And so I think that that's part of my creative process. And I think that there's this man that is talking about alter modernism, not postmodernidad, sino alter modernism. This is like almost saying like la multiculturalidad, la libertad. And, o sea, artists nowadays, we are bombardeados constantly with so much from so many places. And there's nothing wrong about embracing that. I think that we are channels. So the more open is your channel, the more you're gonna get and the more you're gonna be able to give too. Mm-hmm. So I think that it's very interesting to think it like, okay, it's more about the creative freedom than structures, genres, or like styles. Or it's not about that. It's more about the creative and embracing that multiculturalidad, I think, because that's the world we're in. I hope I answered the question. I talk too much.
No, this is fantastic because it really speaks to how you work as an artist. I mean, who among us has also grown up on the internet. Like I grew up on the internet, my weird ass. Like, but the fact that the internet is so present in our world, in our connections with other people, and in the internet, it's like you don't have borders, you don't have nations the way that we have for millennia, you know? And the internet is very multicultural. Right. And so I think that's so key to how you work as an artist. I don't know if you would be the artist you are today if you didn't use the internet.
Yeah, probably, yeah. It would be really different, I think. I don't know if I would even be an artist. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's how you started listening to artists like Bjork. That's how you connected with Arca, like someone... Literally. Yeah, she's like chronically online, so... But again, that's also part of her artistry. And so many... I think that's what makes your work so interesting is that it channels the character of today's day and age where people are so interconnected. But I also think that your music, it sounds the way that it does because you produce it and you produce it, you write it, you sing, you play your instruments.
I also would love to say that Bjork is such an amazing mind, and Arca, and they both produce, and they do it in such a great way. Like literally, there's so much of great female minds out there nowadays that I just celebrate that. Because when I was growing up, I think it was harder to find reference of women. Like I had to dig to find them, you know. And I think that it's amazing that nowadays I see when I'm like scrolling something and I see like more women that they just like doing their beats and everything, and I love that. I think that there's something that is changing now, and I'm really happy about it.
Me too. There are not nearly enough women allowed behind the production board. You know, I will never forget when you won, I believe it was your first Latin Grammy, and you talked about how, you know, Lauryn Hill produced her own music, Missy Elliott produced her own music. Like there are women who've come before, but it's been so difficult to really break in. How did you decide, like, I have to start producing, I don't care what anyone says?
OCD. Oh. No, but literally, I was like, I cannot just let go like that. I really am involved in my projects, even after the music. It's okay. I'm involved in everything, not just the music, but in the music is where like, okay, this is what I studied. This is where it's my background. Like, I love design, I love visuals, I love escenografía, I love fashion. There's so much shit that I love, but that I'm not trained, que yo no he estudiado. But in music, like, it's been all my life that I spent studying. So I think that's why I care so much. I know very precise, like, I need this or that. And also I was like, first my desire was to communicate, to be on a stage and perform. When I was very young, I was like, I want to just sing and move. But then I was like, okay, but wait, I don't want to do it in whatever way. I want to know how to write my songs, because I was like, I don't want to sing something that somebody else did for me. Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. I think that it's better if I choose what I'm singing. And I wanted to learn how to write properly. So I was like, let me dig on Spanish folk. So I started studying, viendo como, okay, flamenco tiene las cuartetas, octosílabas, this, that, boom, studying. And then I think that I just started writing, and I just tried to find my own way of writing. In MOTOMAMI, I did even more than El Mal Querer. And I think that there's something very exciting about just trying to be honest, and in my writing and in the way I produce, really trying to find la esencia, the emotion, and I think that I take the sacrifice of losing moments with my family and with the people that I love for being in the studio and finding that sound that is very important for me because it really closes the circle or it makes the puzzle complete. To me, it's like, me va la vida en ello. If I didn't care about it so much, I think I couldn't do music the way I do it. And yeah, I have love for it. I have love por esta profesión. I have so much love and respect for it. And I just go to the studio and I know where I'm going when I'm going, but I don't know when I'm gonna leave. And I'm fine with it. Even I'm a type of person that I like waking up in the morning, going to sleep in the night, you know, like, so, because soy más diurna, I have more energy in the morning. So I just know that helps me with my mental health. But then at the same time, I'm like, fuck it. This song has to be the best song in the world, like the sickest, like la canción más increíble del mundo. That's what I want to get. Let's do it, you know? So I think it takes a lot of time and a lot of love and a lot of energy. And at some point I decided that was mi prioridad. And yeah, I just put my heart in it. I really try to.
And you... It's also a way for you to have control over your art. And I think it's more and more important that that more women are doing that. So I've seen photos of you in these studios and you're the only woman in the room. What is your advice to women who are trying to produce more? You know, I mean, we see so many women like dominating in electronic music, which is fantastic. But you know, how do you kind of like? I mean, you're a fierce person, so you got this. But what's your advice for?
I just can talk about what works for me. You know, I don't know about cada persona es diferente, but to me, like, there's a priority in trying to find, like, trying to be as honest as I can, the most honest as I can, with my projects and my music and mi trabajo. So I think that in order to do that, you have to be really hands-on. Mm-hmm. I just care. I just really care. I think that when you get a great project, you don't care to be surrounded by other people and give credit to other people if you're gonna get the best project ever. Like, at the end of the day, to me, it's more about let's do the best music. I don't care if one song I do it by myself, that's fine. If one song I do it with 5 of my friends, that's fine. Like, I really don't care where the best idea comes from, just that the best idea is there. Mm-hmm. You know? And so I think that at the end of the day, you have to, like, put your ego on the side and just put yourself in service of that. And I think that, to me, I was just curious. So I was a lot in the studio and I was just learning. I would be like this. I'll be like studying. And then I would read a lot, so much. I would be in the internet studying. And everything that I didn't know, I would ask. Like the engineer I always work with, David, he's so amazing. He always knows so much about plugins that I don't know. And I'm always asking. And like, oh, okay, so, this and that. I'm always asking. And I think that it's good to not be afraid of not knowing. And yeah, I just love learning more. And that's it.
You also, I mean, it speaks to, and I've said this to you before, it speaks to just how good of a student you've always been. That's part of your character, and I think that's a healthy way to experience life is as a perpetual student. You're constantly learning.
Although in the high school, a bit like...
Ooh, wait, real quick.
No, what? Just because I was not like a brilliant student or something. It was till I just could study what I really liked and then I'm like excited about, then yes. But yeah. It took me time.
Yeah, you had to do all the basic stuff, and then you finally got to music, and you could thrive. And so, what thinking about the people that you've brought into MOTOMAMI, it's like such a fun mix of people. You have Noah Goldstein. I mean, you have like your old friend Alwincho. Then you also have Pharrell Williams, who's Pharrell Williams. And but at the end of the day, I mean, also you brought in The Weeknd, Tokisha to be your collaborators. At the end of the day, what makes, when you produce a song, what makes it a Rosalía song? What are some, like, what's your recipe? What are some ingredients that are important? Or like, do you think, okay, all of my songs have to do this?
I think, wow, that's a great question. I think that actually my recipe is not having a recipe. Like, it's just going and just finding it and just like trying till I get it. And I think that also I don't want to go to the studio thinking in a rigid way of how I wanted it to be, but for sure with some ideas that I write down of, okay, I want to try this, because Saoko, for example, it was like, I really want to go to the studio. I was like, I really want to go to the studio with this idea that I have, like, okay, reggaeton song, because I always love reggaeton, but then I love jazz too. So even if it's just a little moment, a little break, or just a little reference of this style that I love, let's try to find it. And I remember they would look at me like I'm crazy when I would say, like, I really want to find this. I believe in it. And it would take me like sessions, like maybe like a couple, 2 or 3, with Uzi, I think David and we wouldn't find it. And there was one day that I was alone in the studio with David, and I was supposed to be recording with somebody else that didn't show up. And then I was just like, and then I was in the piano, and I was just finding just something, like, because I was like bored. It was like 12 in the night. I swear I'm not tan nocturna. And I was just like playing around, and I found this riff, the Saoko riff, And then I would just like be like, okay, this has strength. How can I make this work? I think that this can work. So and then I go to this library que yo tenía de Nice Guy, que me había mandado this producer from Puerto Rico. I was so lucky that he gave me that months ago. And I went to the library, I found some baterías, I started programar, y I found it como mainly like the main beat of Saoko. And then I was just playing around. Chica, ¿qué dices? I was just playing around. And then I just recorded laughing, like literally. And so, yeah, that's just how it happened. So I had una ilusión of doing a certain type of song or idea, but I didn't have no idea how it was going to be. And I just found it by doing. And I think a lot of times in choreography too, when you're just moving, you find something very interesting and personal when you just by doing, and then you record while you're moving, or you record yourself while you're just playing, and then you find something there. It's very important to like just be open to what you're gonna find, then lo recoges, and then you do something with it, but with something that is already happening naturally. Because when you get caught up in a desire of this song has to be like this, or I want it to be like that, or maybe you're losing what is really happening.
Wow. I had a question, and then I was like, oh no, now I'm thinking about Saoko. I'm thinking about how reggaeton has become one of the most popular genres in the world while you were working on, between El Mal Querer and MOTOMAMI, and how much that impacted your childhood, and like, but also the fun inventions that kind of came from these inspirations, your nostalgia for reggaeton. Bizcochito is like it's such a hilarious song, but it's also a feminist song. Or it's,
I love you say that.
it's like it's like your answer to like I think years of, for example, growing up as teenage girls and listening to some of the music back then, and like, I don't know, I don't know.
I
how
love how
feel.
this sounds, but I would say something maybe different here and there.
Right. And then creating something for girls like us, for the girls, you know, who are growing up now with this huge wave in reggaeton, and they have something that they can sing along to and not feel super like uncomfortable. Let's see.
Yeah, I feel you, because to me it was important to put my personal point of view in this style, because definitely I have love and respect for this style that I've been listening since I was a teenager, right? And I was like, the best way that I can honor it is maybe like putting my personal point of view in it, and learning, and of course like listening to the classics, porque me encanta Don Omar, me encanta Lorna, me encanta Ivy, me encanta Hector. O sea, there's so much. Yankee is so good. Like, there's so much great music, and I was like, but I have to do it in a personal way. I don't want that it sounds like como algo que okay lo coges y ya. No, it's like okay, like I really want to like do it with love y ponerle como mi punto de vista.
Yes, absolutely. When I spoke to Romeo Santos about you, for the, I'm trying not to.
Besito para Romeo.
He talked about why the reason why he really wanted to have you on a bachata song with him is that he loves that you bring your perspective to things, and that's what makes it special. And that's what makes it, I guess that's what makes a Rosalía song, is your perspective.
I think that definitely I try that my point of view, my perspective is there, but also I think that because I'm a singer, primero, antes que instrumentista, antes que tocar piano, guitarra, yo cantaba, and I always focused in my voice. I think that I think a lot production through my voice. That's why I think I use a lot my voice as an instrument. In La Fama, I did it like the main riff in La Fama is my voice imitating how the guitar would sound the best way I could, right?
Right. Yeah.
Exacto. Entonces, yeah, I think that a lot of times the arrangements that I do in Mal Querer, like there's so much vocal arrangements, like and little details here and there coming and leaving, because to me that's my main instrument. And I think that the color, some songs like you can be like, okay, yeah, como que te recuerda. You're like, okay, clearly is que lo ha hecho Rosalía, porque I think that I put my voice, a lot of intention and time in the way it sounds. Like literally, the vocal production of MOTOMAMI took me, I'm not even exaggerating, a year at least. Just the vocal production. And also a year just the phonetics, just working on the phonetics. Mucho comping, but also recording. Because to me, it's more important about the recording, and later, of course, like comping. But it's more important about you get the take or not. And I think that I spend so much time also in trying to make it understandable. To me, it's funny. Some people could say like, "I don't understand the lyric," blah 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 blah. But then it's like, did you even spend a minute trying to like read them? Actually, because to me, I spent a year working on those phonetics. No, but I know that I prioritize sound more than the fact that it's understandable. To me, it's more about does this take has the emotion? Because if it does, yeah, that's what it matters. Like that's what's more important to me than if it's like perfectly understandable, blah, blah, blah. Because I know that pop a lot of times is about that, but to me, I prioritize emotion. Sometimes a lot of artists, my favorite ones, they even don't say shit. Like they're even not saying anything. it's just a feeling, or yeah, like who cares if the emotion is there? Still, I spent a year. So yeah, all these people that they say they don't understand, they could spend at least a minute reading them.
Just a minute of your time. What was your greatest challenge in making this record, and how did you power through it?
I think doing it. You're doing it. But definitely while doing it, it was really hard and being far from my comfort zone and being far from my family. But I think that was something that also helped in creating it, if that makes any sense. It's like kind of like paradoxical, but it's kind of like that. And yeah, also, I think for a lot of time, because everything that was happening, I felt very alone, very isolated. And I think that like, it was like kind of difícil to create in those circumstances, but I think it made me like really push myself as a songwriter and as a producer. And I'm definitely super grateful of all the people, the collaborators that they've been part of MOTOMAMI. But it was a lot of time of like, okay, I'm here with this, like estoy sola, pero I'm gonna find a way and I'm gonna just keep going. And that was hard, definitely. But yeah, I feel very grateful that I could close it. Yeah.
I think it's beautiful how, I mean, when I think of MOTOMAMI, I think about how much your family really colored the record. Right. You know, you have your grandma, you sing a song to your nephew.
Definitely, maybe then being transparent also. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, because I never talked about personal stuff before. Right. So I think that was a challenge too. Be just open, like, okay, I'm gonna show all of this. And yeah, I'm just gonna do it.
But I think it shows deeply like the human that you are. I mean, yeah, whatever. We're all human, but at the same time, like as an artist, as someone who's so public, getting the real you and, you know, hearing how you connect with your family and like even speaking to them in your music, I think tapped into your humanity so much. And for that, we're very lucky.
I love you say that, because I think that in El Mal Querer, I was kind of like trying to build, como edificar la diva. And then I think that in MOTOMAMI I was just trying to do the opposite, just trying to humanize it. Like
you built the diva and then you took her down.
Just like, yeah, like trying to be like, I think it's more important to show my person than actually building fiction, because there was too much happening that it was already to me like, okay, I have to process all of this. Yeah. So the best way to process it was writing this album.
Thank you so much for sharing that with
us. Muchas gracias.
All right, so we're gonna take a couple of audience questions.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, wait, I have to choose them. God damn it. I'll start with you in the red beret because I love your hat. Can you, you know, you're right in front of me, so why not?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Joshi.
Hello.
And, sorry, I was like literally like on the train on my notes app, like getting ready a question. And speaking of the train, why were you on the Class 91s? What were you doing there?
Are we talking about what happened in London?
That TikTok.
Oh my God, the train guy.
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
It just happened.
Yeah, okay. But the main question I had for you was, you obviously this album took a long time, right? 3 years. How do you like? Not saying this in a bad way. How do you not get like sick of the songs, like the old songs you made in the beginning?
I do.
You do? Okay. Do you suffer from demoitis? Because like the old like Comi Versace you posted is very different. Like,
So
how do you not get attached to the demos?
I just don't like them. And so I'm like, okay, I don't like this. If I think that it's worth it, I'm gonna push to like get them where I need them to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, that's the question I had. Thank you. See you Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah, Saturday.
Oh, see, you coming?
All right. Back here. I feel like I'm in a game show. Oh my gosh. Okay, you back there in the tiger jacket. Clearly, I have a passion for fashion.
Hi, Rosalía. My name is Hannah. Oh my God, I've loved you for so long, and you kind of got me through like some of the hardest points in my life. So first of all, I just want to say that I feel so inspired to hear you talk about your life experiences and how you make your music. And thank you for sharing that with all of us.
Thanks to you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, okay. So I know that you've been in the industry for a pretty long time. Like, you started at a young age, and so
Not
now...
that young though. I was in college till I was like 24 or something. And then I think I did my first album around 23. So I wasn't for so long. But I feel you though.
Yeah.
I've been working since I was 16.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You've been putting in the work, and I feel like the way your identity is transformed over the years has been so just inspiring. And I would love to know like what your I don't like this term necessarily because it might not sound authentic, but like, what was your artist development process like, and how do you think it like affected you personally?
Wow, that's such a great question. Let's see. I think that sometimes we can get caught up in it's hard. Sometimes I think that we can get caught up in okay, this is what I've shared with the world, and like, for example, a project, no? And so you think that you have to keep going or something with that because that's what you already shared, and so you feel kind of like, that's what I am. Almost thinking about yourself as una cosa fija, when actually I think that we are in constant transformation, like in constant movement, in constant change, in constant, like we're energy, right? So energy is always doing like this, is always moving. So I think it's good to just stay open, to be in constant change. And maybe sometimes it's even hard for yourself to process where you're going or understand where you're going. But I think that if you have intuition and you follow that, you're going to be fine. Maybe you're not going to get the result that you want. Maybe you're not going to go where you thought that you were going to go. Maybe there's going to happen things that you were not expecting to happen. But I think that as long as you follow that, al final, you're going to see that it's fine. And just not being afraid of changing. I think that we're afraid sometimes of the idea, a rigid idea of what others think that we are, which at the end of the day is a projection. And so it doesn't make any sense. And I think that it's good to just be as free as possible. I'm an energy that is constantly changing, that now it feels like this and then it feels like that. And that's fine. And there's beauty in that.
Okay, this is where I try and figure out how many questions do we? 2 more questions. Okay.
I can stay longer. Maybe people, they have to go home, no? Sorry, maybe I...
They don't want to go.
But if I have to stay, I can stay.
Okay.
Susie wants to kill me right now.
I'm sorry.
I didn't think I was going to get picked for a question. So first of all, I just want to say I love MOTOMAMI, and it's a huge inspiration for
Thank you.
moving forward for my music. Because I was listening to the production, and it's really inspiring. So thank you for that album. I love that album.
Thanks to you.
And I just have so I guess my question is on your journey to becoming where you're at right now, like Rosalía, was there ever a moment where you were like, maybe you're working so hard, you're like, maybe this isn't gonna be or work out for me? And then what did you do in that moment? And then when was the moment where you're like, oh shit, it's happening, I'm gonna be the next biggest female reggaeton artist? I mean, no, seriously, because you. But what was that moment where you just knew okay, everything's falling into place now? Does that make sense? I hope that made sense.
No, it makes sense, 100%. The only thing though is that I've always felt that everything was falling into place, even when I wasn't there. Even when I wasn't where I wanted to be, it always felt like I was in the right place doing what I needed to be doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that when you don't feel like that, it's probably because you're projecting and you're not actually there.
Yeah.
So I think that to me, it really made sense every step. Probably here, a lot of people start very young, no? They have careers since very early, como de muy jóvenes, no? And to me, I would look to that when back home, which our industry is growing, but is very different than in here. You guys have been with an industry que tiene muchos más años detrás. And I would be like, oh my God, I'm 23 and I don't even or 22 or something, and I don't even have an album yet. And I had offers years before, of doing an album, but I was like, I'm not ready. I don't have something to say yet. Or I don't know how to use my voice yet. There's so many things that I felt like, I'm not gonna rush this. If my only way, because there was nobody in my family that were a musician.
Same, me too.
Right, nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody connected to the industry either. So I was like, the only way that I can do this is actually craft, studying and becoming, building myself as a musician. Yeah. And then also taking the time to then actually be ready to do a first album. And I think that sometimes we could be tempted to rush things because of the desire, because the drive, which is something beautiful, by the way. It's cool because that gives you energy, that keeps you going. But I think it's good to just be there, okay, right now es suficiente solo con estar, just be, or just go to the park and eat ice cream, or just go to a room and just play the piano and study for hours if that's where your energy is in that moment. So I think that just really listening to what's really around you and where you're really at.
Wow, thank you so much. I hope we can make music in the
Thanks
future.
to you. Let's go.
All right. Last question in the house to the MOTOMAMI.
Thank you. I wanted to ask a very specific question
Okay.
about the MOTOMAMI zine you did.
The MOTOMAMI zine? The fanzine? You got it?
I love the photo shoot, and I was getting lots of mami concepts, aesthetics from the dualism of the moto and the mami.
It was very mommy, the fanzine, definitely. I love that you say that. Yeah.
Yes, because I adore it, and I just wanted to hear you talk more about it. Was this a way for you to channel more of your ideas and get them all down in a different format? Because I see your choreography doing that. Your album has the photo shoot of the Venus moto almost on the cover. I'm not going to keep going because I could keep going. But yes, I just wanted to show everyone my favorite.
Hey!
This is my favorite, the one that you do on stage.
Come on, I have to
'Cause I
sign
see
that
both.
one.
I see this is perfectly summarizing both your concepts. Beautiful. I just want to hear you talk more about it. I need to know.
To be completely honest, I'm gonna be completely honest. This fanzine, we did it like with my friend, que yo amo mucho, Carlota Guerrero, an amazing mind,
Follow
amazing
her
creator. Yeah,
on Instagram. Yeah.
she's so amazing. And then my sister and we were just in nature, vibing, and then in a house, and like we were like literally having fun. And I think that Carlota was perfect to kind of like recoger ese concepto of mami and making it her own. I think it's Carlota's perspective of what mami side is. So I think that that's on the side of the images. But then on the lyrics, I definitely, because MOTOMAMI is like almost like my diary, like a confessional thing, like very personal. The lyrics are very, like, has a lot of codes of references and everything. I was like, I really don't want it to be hermetico. Like to me, making music, I really have like the desire of being understood, if that makes sense. Because la cualidad que más me gusta del pop, the best quality in pop is to be accessible, to be inclusive. Like that's literally what I love most about pop music. So I think that I did this fanzine because I really wanted to write, why did I put this word or this line here and there? There's like explanation about lyrics, right? And I didn't have enough space on the album and the lyrics in the album. I did right, but they didn't have a space. Like they were like, Rosalía, you cannot put all the lyrics in English and Spanish and then put your notes. They were like, literally, there's no space, like physical space. And I was like, okay, let me figure out and let's do a fanzine. So I was like, yeah, let's go. And that was kind of an excuse to just try to communicate a little bit more and just try to make it more understandable. Everything, all the items, everything around MOTOMAMI, the show, the videos, everything is just to make it even more understandable, if that makes sense. Because to me, I experiment a lot while I make the music, and I'm like, my biggest desire is to be as free as possible, as free as I possibly can be. But then my second desire is to be understood. So that's why I care, and I do this fanzine, and there's all these things around. Thanks to you.
Thank you so much to Rosalía and Team Rosalía.
Thanks to you, Susie,
for coming here. Thank you to this fabulous audience.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Get that Grammy, girl. Get that Grammy. Thank you all for being here. Yeah, go, be merry, have fun.